What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 245. No zigzags, but baby, we're all you need of the allegedly award-nominated, number 9 ranked NCAA, Shrek-ranked Lacrosse podcast, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB, it's Deej, coming at you with, for the first time since I think the PLL season ended, Deej, a loaded show. We have a lot to talk about because a lot went down this week in the world of lacrosse in both the PLL and the NLL. We're going to dive into all of it. We've got another Drake Porter Dew review. We've got our newly rebranded Squire Sixes, which is our formerly known as Colin Squire's Top 5, and a whole lot more in between to talk about, which I'm very excited. We finally have things to dive into that pertain to the lacrosse universe. As I sit here on the final podcast I will record as a 28-year-old. I am old. I understand. It's weird, but we're going to make it through. We're going to do the damn thing, and we're going to dive into a whole lot. But before we get started,
I'm honored to have the last. Just going to say that. So honored to be the very last.
Yeah, just call me old, all right? Just get it out of the way.
I want to be you when I grow up. That's all.
That's DJ's way of saying, you're old, I'm young, fuck off. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTBLaxPod. I know it's been a little dormant there on Twitter and Instagram just because nothing's really been going on until this week. But at OTBLaxPod, Twitter and Instagram. Follow DJ on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps the show continue to grow. You can unsubscribe and resubscribe, and it helps play with the algorithm. This weekend, if you're taking your kids out, if you're going out to trick or treat, you should tell every house you knock on the door, can you subscribe to this podcast? And make them subscribe when you ring the doorbell and get your king-size candy bars. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. You get full video episodes of every episode of OTB and all the podcasts on our network. Deej and I are planning some big things for opening weekend of the NLL that will more than likely be taking place on YouTube, especially if you subscribe. The more subscribers, the better. We're on that road to 1K Gauntlet Challenge. So subscribe. Smash that like button. Also, Deej, I got it tonight before we started recording. You can go to youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. We have a handle now. Shout out to YouTube. So you can search that or just search Underground Sports Philadelphia in the search bar. Subscribe, smash that like button, ring the bell icon, comment down below your thoughts on everything we talk about on this episode today. And it really helps if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Trying to get to 1K is that first milestone that we need to hit on the YouTube. So be sure to subscribe. But Deej, shall we get into it? Our first big story starts off in the PLL. And it is brought to you by our merch partners, PHI Apparel Co. They are truly the best of the best. I'm so excited that we're working with them. I know we announced it last week, but OTB logo shirts should be available very, very soon. And you guys, Outside the Box is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing for the great fans of the lacrosse universe with their original designs for all. There's no doubt you'll stand out in the crowd. You guys can use promo code UNDERGROUND for 10% off any apparel when you shop online at phiapparel.co. That's promo code underground at phiapparel.co for 10% off your order. It's linked in the description in the show notes and on YouTube. Go support our merch partners. We've got big-time kick-ass merch ideas conjured up in our brains, some throwback ones that you guys know all too well, and some new ones that we're working on to make it go boom. So shout out to PHI Apparel Co. for partnering up with us to be our official merch partner. But Ben Rubeor has stepped down as Atlas Lacrosse Club head coach and GM. This happened earlier this week and caught everybody by surprise, I would say. Coach Rubeor, this season in particular, I think for us from a media standpoint, was like unbelievable. Really gave us great insight, and I think it was more him just getting like more accustomed to the dealing with the media type thing this year as opposed to last season. Like he was very much more open and like willing to spark conversation with you. Stephen Brooks has been announced as the interim head coach, which means for the time being, unless Atlas like quickly turn around and find somebody, Stephen Brooks is going to be leading Atlas in the championship series in February. So that's big time. Coach Rubeor, biggest reason he will be stepping away is that he and his wife recently found out that she's pregnant with their fourth child. So congrats to the Rubeors. But the statement here from Coach Rubeor coming on, I want to get the date right, the 21st. So almost a week ago now. Today, I am resigning as the head coach and general manager of the Atlas Lacrosse Club in order to devote more time to my growing family. My wife and I recently found out that she is pregnant with our fourth child, and I am looking forward to continuing to try to be the best husband and father that I can be. Thank you to the Atlas players and coaches that have made this a great experience. This is a wonderful group of people that I'm excited to watch in the years to come. Thank you also to the Premier Lacrosse League and all of the people behind the scenes that helped me along the way. I'm so grateful for my professional lacrosse journey, which started 15 years ago. I'll forever be a fan. Ben Rubeor, Atlas first team in league history to now have multiple coaching changes. Obviously, John Paul was the original head coach, Coach Rubeor, and now they're in search for a new head coach as Stephen Brooks takes over as the interim coach. But, Deej, what was your initial reaction to this news getting announced, unfortunately, a day after we recorded last week? So I know it's a bit of old news, but we haven't gotten a chance to talk about it at all. And I really haven't seen too many people talk about it that much either. Obviously, it's the off season, but what were your initial takeaways of seeing Coach Rubeor stepping away from Atlas?
First, it was why does everything come out as soon as we get done recording? That was literally my very first reaction was, wow, like we just recorded yesterday and this happens today. Like this always happens. Why don't they? Like, when are they going to learn to not do things on Friday? Maybe they'll never learn. So we just got to get used to that. But other than that, honestly, my thoughts went, obviously, to congratulations to Rubeor and his wife, and but wondering about the draft and really just the draft. Like, yeah, he's going to have to possibly coach in the championship series, which I don't think is really a lot on him. Like it's sixes. So it's up and down, all short sticks, drive the guy down the alley, pass, pick and roll. It's very basic, simple things. He's kind of just looking to see if anybody fits into the current Atlas squad now. I think that's really his only job there in the championship series. I think that's a lot easier than what his possible job is going to be as GM. Because, taking over the head coaching job also means you're a GM. So he could possibly be not only drafting for this team, but also handling this team's first free agency. Nobody's really talking about that. Like, that's the biggest thing that's going on with him as a coach. Like, yeah, he has a championship series, but he could possibly be handling this team's first free agency and then be drafting for them very shortly after that.
And I think part of the reason not a lot of people are talking about that is because it is so much further down the quote unquote timeline. We will get into, the key dates that have also been announced. But draft wise, I would assume, unless Stephen Brooks is going to get the interim tag removed and he, wants that job and, takes that job, Atlas is already kind of on the search for a head coach that I would believe, not only for Atlas, but for the league in general, they would want to have a full-time, actual coach in place for the draft at the very least. I think the championship series, like you said, it's not that big of a deal that Stephen Brooks is going to be in charge of that for the time being as we record this on October 27th. A lot can change in 4 or 5 months. But I think the biggest thing is that, they figure out, one, if Stephen Brooks wants that responsibility, because it is a lot. Two, you're on the search for that next head coach. If he decides, I want to stay on as a coordinator, as an assistant coach, I'm not ready to take that jump. But I would assume by free agency, which opens up March 6th, that Atlas will have a decision on who their full-time head coach / GM is going to be, if not sooner.
I mean, for Brooks's hopes than anyone is that they do that. That's a lot of stress for him, especially. I would assume he knew earlier than all of us knew. I would expect he didn't get dropped the bomb on Friday like everyone else, but still, like, it's a lot for him to try and process and really think through to, be dealing with free agency and drafting so quickly after just picking up the coaching job. Like, unless that's what he wants, then it's not a problem. But hypothetically speaking, like, what we know about the situation is that he's kind of just, the interim is kind of just thrown at him in the last month or month and a half or so. So he's like not really prepared to really do any of it. So it's a big step. And I'm hoping that he's not in a position where he has to handle all of that on such short notice, because it could be detrimental. And then a lot of people are going to blame him. We see it happen in other sports. And I mean, rightfully so. As a Packers fan, there's nobody more to blame than general manager Brian Gutekunst. But like, you see it all around, like a team, owners that I think get a lot of flack that they shouldn't are the Ford owners of the Lions. I don't think they've necessarily done a bad job outside of coaching. They seem to do a horrible job at picking good coaches and then firing the ones that are actually good coaches. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they've done a phenomenal job with the Lions. I just think the NFL doesn't want them to be good. But that's me, in my opinion. But,
I disagree on some fronts. Making the whole situation with Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders was kind of fucked up.
Yes, I agree. But, everybody has their own instances, but like a lot of times the people who should get blamed don't get blamed. I
also think with this situation, it's a little different, at least Stephen Brooks has been around this team and knows the guys, which I'm curious if that plays a part in if he wants the job, if he gets the job, depending on, that relationship, which I'm sure is good because this Atlas coaching staff over the past couple of seasons have been, they've flipped the script on this team's trajectory from, a complete 180 to where it was in the bubble and in 2019. So I think that's the biggest question at first, is depending on if Stephen Brooks is ready to take that elevated status of being a head coach, which I think he's completely capable of doing. I think he has that skill set and that wherewithal to be a head coach in this league. I think it's just a matter of if he wants that. And then if he doesn't, I don't even know where to begin on who potentially could be a candidate to be the head coach of this team, because it is such a difficult thing with Atlas in particular. It's not like, an expansion team coming in and getting rid of a coach. Like, for an example I'll use, it's not like the New York Riptide in the NLL, where year one, Reggie Thorpe was the head coach. It didn't work out. The ownership group didn't like the trajectory the team was on. They clean slate, brought in a new coach. It's not, I don't think it's even remotely close to that. This Atlas team has championship aspirations. They have a win now roster. They have young talent across the board to make them win down the line roster as well. So I think that also has to play a part in it, and I think it has to really be, if it is somebody from outside of, this organization, it has to be somebody that's going to be able to click and mesh with these players and have some sort of chemistry with them for it to work, because we've seen when things didn't work between a coach and players, as seen in the documentary, Paul Rabel got traded to the Cannons. We saw Scotty Rogers get released into the player pool. We saw a year later RP3 get traded to the Redwoods. Like, things can happen now, and especially with free agency being on the table in the PLL, there's so many more pieces that you have to put into your puzzle as a head coach and as a GM that you have to juggle. And, when you have players like Jeff Teat, Chris Gray, Trevor Baptiste, Tucker Durkin, it makes things so much more interesting. And I also think the other interesting aspect of this is, if it's not Stephen Brooks that's the head coach of this team in a full-time capacity, I personally think it opens the door for potential trades of guys off of this roster, more so now, because the new head coach coming in, if it's not Brooks, has no past connection to these players for the most part. I think that opens the door for somebody like Jake Carraway to get traded. I think that opens the door for somebody potentially like Romar Dennis to get traded. I think there's a lot of layers to this, and it's an unexpected move. Ben Rubeor took this team to the playoffs 2 years in a row now, and you want to talk about importance of how good he was as a coach and as a GM, even though the GM title wasn't given to coaches until this past season, going into this offseason now. Friend of the program, statistician extraordinaire, Joe Keegs. Here's Ben Rubeor's draft history for everybody at home, in case you missed this tweet. 2020, round 1, pick 2, Brian Costabile. 2021, round 1, pick 1, Jeff Teat. 2021, round 1, pick 8, Dox Aitken. 2021, round 2, pick 2, Jake Carraway. 2021, round 2, pick 3, Danny Logan. 2021, round 3, pick 1, Peter Dearth. 2022, round 1, pick 2, Chris Gray. 2022, round 1, pick 5, Kobe Smith. And 2022, round 2, pick 5, Brendan Curry. If anything, if I'm an Atlas fan, that's what I'm, bummed about. Ben Rubeor is a fantastic coach, don't get me wrong. He's done things for this Atlas roster that I don't think a lot of people expected to happen so quickly. The man knew how to pinpoint collegiate talent, I think, better than almost any coach in this league, and that's no knock on any coach, because obviously you guys know we have friendships with a number of coaches in this league, and I think my biggest regret is that we never got Ben Rubeor on this show as a head coach in this league. But man, you look at that list of talent right there from the time he came in to the time he left. That is insane how well he was able to pinpoint talent, and not just in round 1. It's not just round 1 top of the draft talent. To get depth like a Brendan Curry, like a Peter Dearth, like a Danny Logan, who has turned into a superstar. People forget Danny Logan was a second-round pick in 2021. He knows talent, and that's a super special thing to have in a league like this. And I think that's also got to go into the evaluation process of who takes over leading this team.
And the crazy part is the next person could be equally as good or better at picking talent. Because if they don't go with Brooks, I think they should go the route of a high school coach, kind of a Bullis, a McDonough Prep, a Culver Academy, the Hill, a coach from one of those, because their seasons won't really overlap. And
we already have a number of coaches coaching in high school anyway. Chris Bates, Staggs, they both coach at the high school level.
Yep. So, and it's but the coaches who coach at the college level, they have some possible overlap with, making it into the tournament and that kind of thing. Like you get away from that with high school, but they're also still at the level of understanding the game to the very basics, because in high school you do still have to remind kids of the basics, but they still are dealing with the best talent in the country. So they are still working on high level offenses and defenses, but they also have that knack for talent and fixing up talent. So they can see a guy who's on the cups of being very good that other coaches would pass on. And they're like, yeah, let me get that guy in the 3rd round with the 5th pick. And then he turns out to be, first round, 8th pick kind of talent, or 2nd round, 2nd pick kind of talent, because of what he can do as a coach to develop him. So I think high school route, if they don't go with Brooks, is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and this just popped in my head too. I want to pick your brain on this. I think it's more so common in the NBA, where your superstar players, whether or not it's public, you kind of have a feeling they have a say in if a new coach is, going to be hired. They kind of have a say in who is the guy. Yes. Trevor's going to have a say, right?
Oh, and so will Eric Law, and so will Jeff Teat.
Tucker Durkin will have a say.
Tucker Durkin, Jack Kincannon. It'll probably be those 5. They might.
I would even say limited to kind of 3, and I think it would be Trev, Eric Law, and Tucker Durkin, because they're the veterans on the team. Not that like Jeff or Kincannon like don't have a say, but those 3 guys in particular have been on the team the entire time.
I'll say those 3 will probably be in the meeting, but those 5 will be consulted.
I could see it. I'm saying, like, if I had to pick 3, I think it's those 3 guys.
No. Those 3 will
because they've been on Atlas since the beginning.
No, those 3 will be in the meeting, but Jack and Jeff will be consulted before the meeting happens. Mm-hmm. So their thoughts will definitely be considered, and they will be brought up in the meeting. They just won't be there themselves to give them. Because, I mean, that happens at every level before high school. And even at some high schools, they're bringing in, the senior captains to talk about the next coach, or, the upperclassmen to talk about, kind of the culture and what they want to see with the next coach. So it happens at almost every level. So I would be almost dumbfounded to find out that it wouldn't happen with this Atlas team. And especially with the trajectory of the team and some of the guys they have on the team, they have to pull some of them in.
I'm looking at something right now because something just popped in my mind as we were listing those players off. I want to look at a coaching staff of a particular place here. Because when we were listing off those players there, Deej, going here to the staff, do you think... And I this is my ignorance showing a little bit, because I don't really pay attention to the coaching staffs per se. But do you think there's a possibility, if those players are being consulted, 2 of them in particular that we named, with ties to the University of Denver, could they try to sway a Matt Brown or a John Gallant from Denver's coaching staff, one of the assistants there? Because I don't think Bill Tierney's leaving ever. Like, he's going to get buried under that stadium when it's all said and done for him. But do you think Matt Brown or John Gallant could be in consideration at the very least, or be candidates to be the head coach of Atlas, being that there is so many ties to the University of Denver on this Atlas team now? I got to say, there's probably at the very least a slight possibility they get a phone call.
There's a possibility, yeah.
One, if not both.
I won't say the possibility isn't there, but the chances, I feel, are low. I feel like they would want to try their hand head coaching at the college level before they went that far. Like, not like it's a huge step up,
Or even, say Brooks gets the head coaching job takes it, does he go and call one of those guys to come be an assistant for him?
I could see them being more compelled to take that. I don't know if that necessarily happens. I feel like Brooks would probably know some other guys himself that he would kind of be inclined with. Because, like, I mean, that happened with me. You know, like I'm up to a 3-person coaching staff because I got one of my teammates that I played with in high school. Like, he graduated, and I hit him up immediately. It was like, yo, like, you know, would you want to coach now that I'm coaching? And like, he was all for it. So that's kind of like the way I see it. Is the best example is like hockey, like the hockey world. Like everybody knows everybody else. So like when those kind of things happen, that person gets their job, and then everybody else can kind of like tell you, oh, they're going to call this person, this person, this person, this person. And like those are going to be their first looks at assistant coaches. And then these will be their backups. Like, so like lacrosse is kind of the same way. Like Brooks is going to have his first row of guys, and then probably a second or a third row. And then if any of those fall through, then he'll, you know, start to look elsewhere. But I wouldn't be surprised if he reached out and they took that offer. More inclined for them to take the assistant coaching role than the head coaching role.
And I mean, looking here too, you know, obviously Brooks went to Syracuse. Is there a chance he tries to pull somebody from the Orange Men to come be on his coaching staff if he takes the head coaching job? I'd say yes.
But who?
At least an attempt.
And then you got it. I mean, that coaching staff's kind of on the older side. So, like, are they really up for all that traveling after doing all the traveling during the season?
And obviously, everybody at home, we're operating on the mindset that Brooks is taking the job in this instance, and then some of the other instances, he's sticking as an assistant.
I mean, even this one, he could stick as an assistant. When you think about the Syracuse squad, like those guys are, not only do they know the game, but they're veterans for almost everyone speaking. Like there aren't too many people alive right now, coaching or playing, that can consider themselves, you know, at their level in terms of experience. So we could also be talking about a head coaching job and Brooks being an assistant in this role, but still, like, it's, I don't know how they feel. Like every week I look at Stags and go, I don't understand how he does it.
Because he's like, an icon.
He is a literal icon. Like there's no slight or disrespect in that. Like, you know, we all can see Stag. You know, he's healthy for his age. You know, he's definitely up there, but he's very healthy. He moves well, and he takes care of himself. But it's just like I couldn't imagine doing the traveling and the work that it takes to be a PLL coach after getting done with my high school season, you know, at that age. But he does. And
I just had a wild card option pop in my head, especially if Brooks takes the head coaching job to fill an assistant role. Hear me out. This is like super duper wild card. Probably would never happen, but it would be pretty cool if it did. He started his career in the PLL with Atlas, just retired, played for the Woods. Kevin Unterstein as an assistant coach would be pretty freaking cool.
That's not bad.
Played with Brooks on Atlas. Has, you know, that pedigree of winning, obviously being on Team USA and, you know, being in the PLL, knows what it takes to, you know, operate and function at the PLL level. That'd be a fun option if he was down for it. I could see that, you know, being a cool bridging of the gap, bringing a former player in the PLL level to be a coach.
That would be kind of cool. I mean, we're going to start to see it eventually as the league grows, you know, more coaches, more analysts and stuff from the former players. So it's only the beginning of a very big blooming flower if it does happen.
I'll never forget asking Coach Rubeor about substitutions this entire season in press conferences. He's the man. I'll never forget the clip, too, of, you know, going and asking Joe Keegs for the numbers, or you can just hit bouncers from 2. That will live in fame in my brain, probably infamy in a lot of people's brains, the numbers nerds. But shout out to Coach Rubeor. Gonna miss him. Gonna miss the post games with Coach Rubeor. He's the best, and I wish him and his family nothing but good health and a successful, fourth pregnancy for his wife. That's awesome. Congratulations to the Rubeors, and we'll be on Coach Watch. We're on hashtag Coach Watch for Atlas. Put your goggles on. We're getting ready. We're going in. And comment down below on YouTube who you think Atlas should hire as their next head coach. And we'll read them all on next week's episode or whenever you leave them. So let us know who you think should be the next head coach of Atlas Lacrosse Club. Deej, we have one other PLL pop culture news that we could dive into. Or we could dive into a preseason schedule in the NLL. Choose your adventure.
Do we really want to shift gears and go backward? I don't know. Because if we go NLL and then go back to PLL, that's kind of like wrong.
So let's hit the boomstick and PLL Method Man capsule.
Boomstick.
Boom. PLL theme song, baby. No. It's brought to you by our friends at Kenwood Beer. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use that all new and improved Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. Y'all know everything's coming up Philly right now. If you know, you know. So go stock up on your Kennys for a wild week in sports that's coming up for us here in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. Deej, the PLL Method Man Collab 2.0, I guess you could say. I mean, there was a previous Method Man drop, very limited, but brand new one involved with PLL Sis, if I'm not mistaken. Very cool stuff. Rolling Stone putting out articles about the PLL and Method Man, and RJ posted on his Instagram today that this all, was sprung from a FaceTime call with Method Man during, lockdown in 2020, and stuff looks awesome. Liam went to work on this capsule. Shout out to the boy. And they went and delivered a whole bunch of merch to some of these awesome youth programs because that's what Method Man wanted. He said if he was going to do it, there would have to be, some sort of incentive to get, the youth involved and everything. And I think Method Man being a face of this league from a growth standpoint is so fucking cool, but it's also so massive in terms of just like getting eyes on the sport and helping it continue to grow from the youth level up.
And in my opinion, the right eyes, where the sport has been going and the coverage that it has been getting has been hitting the eyes that like they wanted to hit in terms of like bringing in the audience that is already connected to lacrosse. So like they can just hit the ground running, make money, and like go from there. They did that right, but like now I feel like they are finally like taking the first step to like branch to a community that isn't really like in lacrosse. Like we know like the Black community is ever so slowly like etching their way into lacrosse, but like this is a big way to do that. Like I looked at a lot of the programs that got this merch, like they're mostly in low income Black communities. Like that's one way. Like, oh, we get free merch. Why? Oh, it's lacrosse. That's cool. Like, what's lacrosse? Here it is, and it opens up a gate. And Method Man just explained like how he got into everything and just, being in middle school and high school and playing and wishing he could have played longer. And like, it just, the gate that it opens for a whole new community and a whole different type of player to experience lacrosse, or a different type of fan to experience lacrosse, is like the biggest part about this.
And I think it can't be understated, like how shitty it is for, underserved communities that don't have money. They're not wealthy, from all walks of life. I had the opportunity to go to a lacrosse camp when I was in middle school, but I was too much of a bitch, and I was way better at swimming anyway. because I can't run. But like looking back on it, it's like there's no way I would have been able to sustain playing for a long period of time because of how expensive lacrosse has gotten. And that was, 15 years ago that we're talking that I had the opportunity to even like try the sport. But like thinking about it, like there's no way I would have been able to afford the one sport that I was like good at growing up, along with a secondary sport that I could have picked up, but it would have been way too expensive to do it. And now, with PLL assists, with Goals for Greatness, and now with Method Man getting involved, at the youth level to help this sport continue to grow in underserved communities. And like you mentioned, especially in, the underserved Black African American community, it's huge. And it's only going to continue to help the sport grow. I mean, you look at the league this year in both the NLL and PLL, very first time both MVPs were Black players. Like, that's huge for so many reasons. And, you look at just how when the PLL went to Dallas and Nakai Montgomery's back in his hometown and he's got kids saying, I want to be the next you. Like, it gives people an opportunity to see people that look like them doing something that they feel they're capable of, but didn't know was possible.
And like that, it's such a realization. Like, I don't know what's taken so long other than the money piece. Maybe that is really the only thing that's been the problem but when kids see like how easy lacrosse is and how fun lacrosse is, and that it's simply just a game of enjoyment and work, so many more kids will play once the barrier is taken down. Like, and this takes down that barrier. I think this almost gives kids like an okay to ask for help. Like, and that's the biggest thing with like low income kids in lacrosse. Like, if you're listening or you're watching, like, just ask for help. 9 times out of 10, someone on your team has extra gear, or their parents are just loaded and don't care to sponsor you so that you can play. Like, they love lacrosse just as much as you do, and they want to see you play just as much as you do. So like, they'll do what they can to help you out and like make it happen. So like, that's the biggest thing, is like, I feel like it gives a lot of kids confidence to just ask for help. Because like, I mean, Method Man asked for help. He didn't really have it, and he was able to work some things out and make it happen. So I think it's just like taking that leap of faith and doing something that you want to do, but asking for help to make it happen can turn into something much bigger. You just have to take that step of asking. And I know it's like a huge like pride thing and ego thing, but like to see someone like Method Man or Nakai do it and then get the support back from the PLL, it's like a huge sigh of relief for them. Like, okay, it's okay. It's acceptable. Other people do it, that look like me, so I can do it too.
100%. So shout out to Method Man. You want to talk about a white whale that I want on this podcast? Method Man is on that list and has been since that first collab. Like, it would just be so cool to just pick his brain about lacrosse, music, everything. Like, Wu-Tang is not only for the children, it's for everybody. And it would be just so sick. Like, we got to find a way to get Method Man on the pod.
We got to hit up the man RJ. He's got the
RJ. I'm gonna put that out there. 2023. That is a manifestation that Method Man will be on the pod,
along with RJ and KT.
Yes. RJ, you have an open invite whenever you want to come on the pod. We'll get it. That's another story for another day for the people. But 2023, we're making it happen. Method Man on OTB. We're going to make that happen. Deej, I think to break things up. And also, real quick, we'll talk, because it just popped back in my brain. Topps cards are out. DJ and I are working on getting boxes. If any hobby shops want to hook us up. You can sponsor our box break because Deej and I open these things live. So any hobby shops out there that want to sponsor a box break, hook us up with a few boxes, even one. Like, I will be happy with one. And we'll crack that thing open live for everybody. Deej and I did order packs from the PLL website, too, that will be here whenever they ship. Thinking about ordering a couple more. Maybe we'll order some to give away. If we... Here, I'll put this out there. If we get to 1,500 followers on Twitter, we're 54 away. We'll give away Topps cards.
I like that.
I
like that.
But we're working on getting boxes one way or another. At least one for each of us. We're going to try to get that done because we love opening the Topps cards. And some of the cards that I've seen that people have already gotten their boxes look sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely copping a hobby box come Monday. I'm going to wait till Monday. I think that's a smart idea. That's going to give me the weekend to really think about it, do some dumb decisions, and see if the money is worth it. So
I got to find the...
But I think I'll cop that on Monday. I'm excited to open these cards up, dude. I've been seeing some of the stuff that's come out. Did you see the patched card? The inserted relic with Latrell Harris? It wasn't even a single colored patch. Multicolored, dog.
That's what we aim
fire.
for. That's what we aim for.
Like, I can't wait to see some of the stuff that's going to pop out of this.
I'm putting out a signal here to Steel City Collectibles and Steel City Break Room on Twitter. I know they have a gazillion followers more than we do. But they seem like really cool people. And even though they're in Pittsburgh, and we're, South Jersey, Philly-based, we're very kumbaya. We come together. We're family. This is no free ads, but at SCC Trading Cards, y'all should at them and say, send OTB some boxes and partner with them so we can open up boxes of PLL cards. Also, Deej, I think it's pretty cool that the Philadelphia Phillies are bridging the baseball lacrosse world together. Did you see our boy Mike Rabel tweet at me?
I did not.
So I tweeted a video when the Phillies advanced to the World Series. Shout out to the boys. That's why I'm rocking the hat tonight on a lacrosse podcast. The locker room celebration when they're singing Dancing on My Own, which has been in my ears nonstop since the Phillies made it to the postseason. This was the tweet from Mike Rabel to myself. I want to pull it up so I have it here. So he tweeted back at me just casual, like didn't even at him or anything. And it was just a video. I said, "Good morning, beautiful people. Hashtag Red October." It was the Dancing on My Own locker room celebration. Mike Rabel subsequently tweeted at me, said, "Okay for me to like baseball, ? Or just this song/group of Phillies, ? Either way, I'll jump on the bandwagon." The Philadelphia Phillies are bridging the gap between lacrosse and baseball, and I absolutely love it.
If you know, you know. Me as one of the biggest lacrosse fans has been bridging that gap as I've been trying to go to every stadium. Made my appearance at Citizen Bank Field out in Philly. And that one appearance did a lot.
It did.
For that Phillies team. If you know, you know. I won't go too deep because they still got some stuff to do, so I don't want to.
Yeah. We got 4 more, Topper. We got 4 more.
But if they happen to win the World Series,
wouldn't be the first time you saved a season.
Wouldn't be the first time I saved the season.
Hopefully, it won't be the last.
It'd be the first time somebody owed me a ring for it. So I'm gonna go get fitted so I can tell them what size my ring finger is. I think by a guess, I'd probably say a solid 7.5. I'm skinny, y'all. Probably 7.5. But I'm definitely gonna get fitted. Figure that out.
Phillies are bridging the gap, man. I absolutely love it. Shout out to Mike Rabel jumping on the Phil's bandwagon. There's plenty of room. I don't know how you feel about this before we get to our next thing. I hate gatekeeping fans. Like, so many, like, these nerds. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, don't gatekeep fandom. If somebody wants to jump on a bandwagon and be part of this run, let them jump on. Like, the more the merrier. I don't care if if you watch one Phillies game all year. I don't care if you watch one Archers Lacrosse Club game all year and they go to a championship. You want to root for that team? Go root for them. There's no room for gatekeeping in my house. OTB is anti-gatekeeping.
As long as you preface at the beginning. Like, people know we got multiple teams around here, but they know who they are. Everybody knows who our teams are across all our leagues. We aren't one-team leagues. We got our pod teams, which both of us like. We got our own individual favorite teams, backup favorite teams. But if you're upfront and forward about it, it's all good in the hood.
Exactly. Like, y'all know, I cover the Wings. I have a personal affection towards that team. But I also love the Colorado Mammoth. They're the boys. They're the homies. They've been with me since 2018. But I also got hella love for a bunch of teams in the NLL. That's just how it is. But don't gatekeep. Gatekeepers suck. Hashtag gatekeepers suck in the comment section. But Deej, let's get into it. It is another... It is a Drake Porter Do Review Voodoo regular this week. Not the Zero Sugar. Regular Voodoo review.
Not this, but this.
That. You could get with this, or you could get with that.
You get this, get that.
Pulling up the scores here. As last week, we did Voodoo Zero Sugar, which is mystery flavor for 2022. DJ gave it a 4.8. I gave it a 6.9. And that is on the Zero Sugar / sugar-free scale. So it is a bit of a different scale than the regular. But we got the regular on tap here. Instead of a black label, it's an orange label. It's spooky season. I got my spooky shirt on. You gotta get into the Halloween spirit. But this will be our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th do review that we've done.
We've been
chugging along.
Slamming these things.
Chugging along.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Choo, choo. We said last week when we did this one too that we didn't really hate it per se, but we could tell it was zero sugar. I thought it was fine for a zero sugar as well. Like, I've had way worse zero sugar drinks in my lifetime. So it's pretty solid. But expectations for the regular, Deej, after last week with the sugar-free.
Before I get into that, sorry to anybody who was watching and saw that whole face thing I had going on. I got a glimpse of Michigan's uniforms for this weekend, and they are beautiful. They're going dark midnight with the maize, with the winged helmet. Oh, I'm just in love. Michigan by 1,000,000. Let's go. But other than that, I'm actually really excited to try this voodoo. Like we mentioned, like the sugar-free wasn't bad. Like, I casually sip on it. Like, it kind of just sits here, and I kind of just sip on it when I'm thirsty down here. I do a science project and my throat hurts. Like, I kind of just sip on it casually, and it's okay. Like, I can drink it. Like, I'm not gonna drink the whole bottle and slam it, but I can casually sip on it here and there. So I would imagine the voodoo is a regular one is something I could have more than once and kind of hope this mystery flavor just becomes a regular flavor.
So this one, just like last week, also has the number 4 on it, which we believe this is the 4th iteration of Voodoo being a mystery flavor. But Deej, let's get right into it. It is pretty much the same consistency too. It's like that glacier cherry Gatorade color for the people just listening on audio. But here it is, Drake Porter 2 review, Voodoo mystery flavor 2022.
Now, do you think I could add table salt to Voodoo, to the sugar-free, or table salt, table sugar to the sugar-free Voodoo?
Maybe
And it would
smell
taste like
this. It smells different. Way more in your face with like a citrusy, like sourness. It smells like, you know what it smells?
Is that
It smells
the
like
sugar I smell?
it smells like when you open a bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah,
Like the regular kids, not the watermelons, the regular kids.
Yeah, and not
It
the
smells
all
like
blue
that.
raspberry Johns either. The
Smells like the
whole Johns.
the whole crew of kids. The whole gang.
The whole the whole Little Rascals.
This thing got more than $1. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, mine was like 2 something.
Yeah, here we go. What does that taste like?
Mango E.
It's giving a little lemony vibes too. Like a lemonade almost.
Yeah. You had that new mango sunburst lemonade from Wendy's. Oh yeah. It tastes like a carbonated version of that.
It's pretty good.
No free ads by Wendy's, but that lemonade gas. Mango sunburst.
It is giving like a mango, like lemonade taste.
Yeah, it really tastes like that lemonade, carbonated version.
Definitely like a lot of lemonade flavor in this. I like this.
It reminds me a lot of Spark, but
Yeah.
like a mango version of Spark.
Yeah. I like this a lot. That is way better than I was expecting. It's definitely better than the sugar-free version. By far. The real question is, where is it going to fall in our rankings? DJ's highest grade he's given to date is an 8.5 to the aforementioned Spark. Because our Frostbite can scores will be changing.
No, I thought I gave a 9 to Darkberry Bash.
Oh, yeah. You did give a 9 to Darkberry Bash.
Other than that, yeah, 8.5.
I still didn't fill that in. That's why I didn't have that.
It might have even been a 9.1.
I think you gave it a flat 9, and I gave it
9.2.
an 8.8, I want to say.
And it ended up being 8.9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So yeah, your highest is a 9, which was given to Darkberry Bash. Does it hit the 9s? Does it hit the 8s? You've given 3, technically. Or no, I'm sorry, 4, technically. In the 8s, including the Frostbite can.
So 3.
Which will change, but 3 technical, like, legit scores. Which was Voltage at an 8.1. Mango Gem at an 8.2. And then Spark at an 8.5.
I might put this literally par with Mango Gem. Yeah. 8.2.
I like this a lot. I'm bummed that this is limited edition.
I agree.
I've given 4, but I think it should end up being 3. I think my mango gem was a little too high. In the 9s, I've given 2 in the 8s.
I think I know how they made this.
How did they make it?
I think it's Spark and Mango Gin.
I could see it.
I'm going to stop talking before they show up at my house.
We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You need to delete that part of the podcast for right now.
I'm going to... Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think it's that solid. It's not higher than my Dark Berry Bash score. It's not quite Spark, although I don't know what I would grab if both of those were available. Like, I think this is that good. It's better than Voltage. This is really good. This is one of the better ones I think we've done. I'm a big fan of this. Well done, Mountain Dew.
Very good.
So 8.5 and 8.2 for the quick mathers at home is 16.7 divided by 2. That's 8.35, which in our books always rounds up to the next decimal point, as they teach you in math class in school, making it an 8.4 out of 10 for Voodoo Mystery Flavor 2022, which joins the 8s club with a lot of our scores. Voltage was an 8.2. Mango Gem currently sits at an 8.7. The Buffalo Wild Wings exclusive Legend flavor, 8.6. Dark Berry Bash was in the 8s as well as an overall score. Major Melons an 8.7. And Spark still reigns supreme at 8.9 out of 10. I think this is solid. This is really fucking good. I'm impressed. It's been a while. Like, obviously, I think the 2 restaurant exclusive ones like blew us away, where we were like, wow, this is unreal. I think this is the first like one in the bottle that overall we were like, wow, with like little to no expectation.
Yeah. I think Purple Thunder could also get us like this. We have no clue what to think of that.
Yeah, no idea with that. I think that apple flavor too that's on Amazon.
Oh, the thrashed apple. Yeah, we gotta get that.
We gotta get that.
And then you still have the gingerbread one, right?
Yeah, I have that in a can.
Yeah,
that we'll probably just have to pour into a glass because that one's on the shelves now.
Forever.
But for everybody at home, I did stumble upon this year's holiday flavor today.
Yeah, that's
Fruitquake.
I literally I literally hurled up a hairball in my office when you said that to me. Like, it's nasty. I didn't want to look at that. It like ruined my day.
Yeah, that one's gonna be bad. This one though, this was a treat in terms of trick or treat. This was a treat. Big fan. Well done, Mountain Dew. Whatever you did, this needs to be bottled and made into its own flavor, no longer a mystery flavor. Make it something and sell this motherfucker in the shelves. Get rid of Code Red. That's just terrible. This is better than Voltage. This is better than Code Red. Put this permanent.
They could get rid of Livewire for real.
For that too. That's just basura.
They ain't got to bring that Flamin' Hot John back.
Ever again.
Where it's at. Hey, I think that Fruitquake might be worse than...
I don't know if anything will ever be worse than Flamin' Hot.
No, I think that...
Here's why. Here's why I think Fruitquake will not be worse than Flamin' Hot. At least it has fruit.
But how many different fruits to taste bad? Like, bro, there's no way that's
at least it has a fruit concept to it.
I
Flamin' Hot was just like, what are we doing here?
I don't think it's gonna have a fruit taste to it. I think it's gonna taste like fruit cake, which tastes like ass.
I'm skeptical, but I'm hopeful.
You always so optimistic, man. I swear I want to be that way one day.
Nothing can be worse than that flaming hot. Nothing.
Okay.
Unless they make like extreme flaming hot, which at that point just send me to the gulag. Make me fucking Hopper from Stranger Things. And
the extra flaming hot, John.
ugh. Terrible. Absolutely horrific.
You know I'm not drinking that, right?
No.
All right. I wouldn't even try.
That's just terrible. We have NLL preseason scheduling coming to the forefront. We've got 3 weeks of NLL preseason, which to me, this is the first time that like it's been league wide for preseason. You know, in the past, we've had joint training camps where we'd have like scrimmages and stuff that I've covered. It was, you know, New England, New York, and Philadelphia, year one of the Riptide, where we had joint training camp. But we've got a 3-week slate of preseason lacrosse from November 5th to November 26th. Now, while I am very happy, not all games are open to the public either, for everybody at home, just in case you're wondering. While I'm happy we've got preseason lacrosse, and I'm hoping some of these, if not all of them, will be broadcast so we can watch them and kind of give ourselves an idea of how teams are moving along. DJ and I were talking before we started recording. Maybe make this 2 weeks of preseason games and then start the regular season like you did a few years ago, NLL, Black Friday weekend. Like, make that a thing. Like, I know the NFL just announced next year they're going to have a Black Friday game, but it's on fucking Amazon Prime. Who cares? Make the NLL start weekend Black Friday weekend. Make it a thing. Like, this is when it's going to start every year. I don't understand the lateness to the start of the season when this is also happening now. And like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited to have NLL back. I love the NLL. But is 3 weeks of preseason action needed when you already have a 20-plus week regular season and guys are going to be getting banged up and pushed around and, you know, in these games, who's to say any of the, especially for the Buffalo Bandits, who's to say any of these like big name players are even going to play in these games? That's why, you know, 2 weeks of a preseason schedule I think works in my opinion. But nonetheless, I'm excited for NLL.
I don't know. I kind of think it works out. Like you mentioned, you know, I think it's going to play very similar to other preseason, you know, other sports preseasons that we see now. The Stars will get a little bit of play to kind of, you know, warm themselves up, but it's mostly going to be for bench and potential guys to earn their keep and get their minutes. You know, that's what we'll see out of this. And it'll, you know, it's not going to be something big, but I think it does help them get into rhythm and get used to getting hit again, so there aren't so many injuries at the beginning of the season. Like, and it doesn't seem like every team is playing a bunch of games. It looks like every team is only playing like 1 or 2 games at max.
I think 3. The most is 3.
Yeah, so I think, you know, so it's not like, you know, they're getting burned out or they're playing a bunch either. I think it's just a couple of games to kind of get the flow going, get the jitters out, you know, get everything kind of moving, and also give a few other guys, you know, last second opportunities to maybe crack a game day roster because they couldn't quite figure it out in training camp or something like that.
So here's the schedule. It starts Saturday, November 5th. We got Panther City against Albany. And then Sunday, November 6th, we've got Rochester against Buffalo. And then the weekend of November 11th, which is a Friday, we've got Las Vegas against San Diego, Calgary against Rochester, Colorado against Toronto, Halifax against San Diego, Calgary against Albany, Saskatchewan against Buffalo, Las Vegas against Halifax. Big loaded weekend there. And then the 19th and 20th weekend, Saturday, Sunday there in November, Georgia against Albany, Saskatchewan versus Toronto, New York versus Panther City, Philadelphia versus Buffalo, Colorado versus Las Vegas, Rochester versus Panther City, Saskatchewan versus Calgary, New York versus Toronto, and then Philadelphia versus Georgia. Those last four that I mentioned are Saturday, November 26th. So, interesting schedule there. I don't know. Did I name every team playing? Like, is every team in the league playing at least once? I couldn't tell if I named every team.
Believe so. Because I was looking through it earlier, and I was trying to find, and see if there's a team that wasn't playing.
Here, well, because there's 15 teams now.
Yeah.
So we got Panther City, Albany, Rochester, Buffalo, Las Vegas, San Diego, Calgary, Colorado, Toronto, Halifax, Saskatchewan, Georgia, New York, Philly,
who's missing? Oh, is it Las Vegas, or did you say that?
Did I say... No, I said Vegas. Who's missing?
You said Panther City. You
Oh,
said Buffalo.
Does not look like Vancouver is playing a preseason game.
Interesting.
And all of these games, too, are not necessarily at home arenas for all of these teams. There's some being played in Brampton, Ontario. There's some played at the KeyBank Center, which is Buffalo. We've got one on Reservation Arena, which I don't want to butcher saying the name. So I'm not going to do that to myself. There's also one at the TRAC, which I don't know where that is.
That's Toronto.
Oh, okay.
I think that's their Toronto Rack Athletic Complex.
Yes.
It's
as
like
soon as
practice complex or whatever.
Yeah. As soon as I said that, I was like, oh, that's Toronto. So a lot of these. And then there's actually, I think, 2 games, if not one at least. There's at least one being played in Las Vegas.
Yep, I saw that.
Ultra Arena.
Yep, I think there's only one.
Yeah. And then there's also one that Calgary's hosting that last weekend in November at the Saddle Dome.
Okay.
And the last game too, Philly and Georgia's in Onondaga. So a few different places, but very cool that we've got preseason lacrosse to look forward to. Hopefully some of this is broadcast, so we can watch and kind of get some preseason analysis for everything. But who knows? I'm sure we'll find out more information as it gets a tad bit closer, even though it starts next week, which is exciting. But yeah, NLL preseason. We're still on that search for Deej to find a favorite team, too. So, not that the preseason, I'm sure, will affect that whatsoever, but who knows? Somebody could do something big and be like, oh, that's my team.
Hey, there's one team that's kind of up there right now.
Yeah, your New York Riptide.
Hey, slow your roll. All right, not quite yet, but possibly.
Last thing we got a Squire Sixes, formerly known as Colin Squire's Top 5. It is spooky season. It's Hallow weekend. It's also my birthday weekend, which is always Hallow weekend. But we're going to do Squire Six's Halloween candy. So we asked the question last week if we should switch it from Top 5 to Squire Sixes. DJ and I made the executive decision. It made more sense, and it's cooler, because everyone does Top 5s. Let's do a Top 6. It's named after the boy. And also anybody out there who may have that 1-of-1 Colin Squires card from the replacements, we're still on the lookout for that. So if you want to hook us up with that for the studio, let us know. But Deej, we're going to do Halloween candy. We did this last year as a draft. but we're going to do it as top fives now. Well, top sixes. Last week we did our haunted house crew, which I believe you had the first pick. No, I had first pick last week. So, Deej, for Halloween candy, you have the honors of the first pick.
I might get chastised for like my first like 3 or 4 picks, just because when it comes to candy, especially Halloween candy, I am outlandish apparently.
Oh boy!
Number 1 is Almond Joy. Off rip.
Oh, for the love of Christ!
See, look at you. Almond Joy off rip. Them things bang, bro. What? Chocolate coconut with the little almond that come in with the snap? Give it to me every time. But don't you hand me no mounds. I want hands. You put a mounds in my bag.
Horrible.
Almond Joy, I'm all for it.
Terrible.
And it's not even about the coconut. It's the dark chocolate.
I can't do the coconut. I'm so thankful that you fumbled the bag with pick 1-1 there. Please sign me the fuck up. Shout out to Will Arnett. Give me the Reese's Cups.
Oh, see, you wrong already. But I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Give me the Reese's Cups. They are the best. You know, going trick or treating. My sister and I would always count up. Okay, who got the most Reese's Cups? Let's see who won trick or treating this year. That was the battle. Reese's Cups reign supreme, and they're the GOAT, the elite. My next pick, since we're doing the snake here, I'm trying to think. What did I... See, you might hate me for this pick, but I feel like I am in a very small minority of people who enjoy this candy. Three Musketeers.
Oh. No, Three Musketeers ain't bad.
Three Musketeers, I don't think gets nearly enough love for how good they are. Huge fan of Three Musketeers. The only thing I'll have to say is if you're drinking something of anything that's not water, don't drink after you had a Three Musketeers because they are like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the nougat. I don't know what in the Three Musketeers does it. It distorts whatever you're drinking. It's so weird. But I love Three Musketeers.
Like toothpaste.
Yeah, but it's weird. It like makes your mouth like almost like chalky. Yeah. It's very weird. But I love a Three Musketeers. Sign me up for those all day, any day. They are my number 2.
My number 2 is one that you don't get when you go trick-or-treating. It's one you have to buy. Also one that a lot of people hate, and I'm sure I will get chastised for, but I don't care. Give me the fattest bowl of candy corn you got.
My man.
The fattest bowl of candy corn you got.
My man.
Like, oh, let's go. Candy corn is so gas.
Yes. Yes.
That's crazy. We both like candy corn.
Oh, I love candy corn.
I think we did this last year.
Dude, give me candy corn. I'll pop it on my 2 teeth right here to make me look like a candy corn vampire. I love candy corn, dude.
That. I'm so much candy corn. Oh, wow. Yeah. Number 3.
I will say sometimes you'll get the rare one where like I don't know how people find it, but it's in those small little tiny plastic bags that gives like 5 pieces of candy corn in it.
Yeah, the Brocs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like never those. They always have those little nasty caramel whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Candy corn bangs. Debate your mothers.
Candy corn does in fact bang. Like he said, don't argue with me, argue with your mama. Number 3 for me though is Reese's Pumpkins.
Solid.
They distinctively taste
the Reese's shapes as a whole, but it is rare. Good. I'll say this, it is rare that when you're I went with the trick-or-treating mindset when I said Reese's Cups. It's rare that somebody's like, oh, I'm going to go buy the individual Reese's Pumpkins to give out because them things expensive.
They are.
But
you get lucky if somebody buys
anything Reese's shapes is unbelievable.
a lot of times you get the people who buy just the mixed bag, and the whole bag
Mm-hmm.
just has the pumpkins in it. But yeah, those are gas.
My next pick, it's going to be brought to you by our friends over at Pickup. You guys can go to playpickup.com, start playing the hottest headlines in sports, rack up points on your fan profiles, cash them in for prizes on the Pickup Marketplace. That's playpickup.com. My third pick is going to be... This one's probably a little underrated too because it is such a trick-or-treating style. So I don't know if you ever got these, but you know how sometimes it's the individually wrapped giant Sour Patch Kid.
Mm-hmm.
That was always like, damn, that's pretty cool. It's an oversized Sour Patch Kid. Like, it always was like, you tried to rack up as many of those as you could get to, and it's like, yo, let's get a whole bag of these things. It's like jumbo-sized Sour Patch Kids.
That is fucking hilarious.
My fourth pick. My fourth pick is going to be... Let's see. People are probably going to hate me for this too. I'm going to go back to the gummy candy well. I'm going to go Dots. I'm a huge fan of Dots.
Do in fact hate you for that. That's awful.
I love nasty. Dots. I love Dots.
That's nasty. That's almost as bad as a pack of Peeps.
Peeps are horrendous. Don't ever compare Dots to Peeps. Don't you ever do that. That's blasphemous.
Bro, Dots tastes like what I imagine Play-Doh tastes like.
No. No.
I swear, bro. Like, I just like bite into them, and I just like, this is so just.
Nah, Dots bang.
Edible.
Those when you get those little boxes of Dots.
Dots are not edible,
pristine.
Bro.
Well, if they're not, I got something. No wonder I'm, overweight because they probably are just sitting in my stomach, and my stomach's just Dots.
Oh, not a stomach full of Dots, dog. That's hilarious.
DJ's fourth pick is brought to you by the homies at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. You guys can go to tomahawkshades.com. Get your Blue Light Plus glasses to tune into all the NLL preseason action. Protect your eyeballs from those harsh blue lights coming from your TVs. Get your sunglasses as well. Use code USP at checkout for 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com. Deej, your number 4 pick.
I just had a whole quart carton of these, and a lot of people probably don't like them, and I'm also going to get flack for this one as well. But them Whopper Johns. That little 3-pack of Whopper, man, them thing hit every time. Let me get one of them. Pop, 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 right in the mouth. What you mean? Pop, choo-choo, pop, choo-choo, pop, choo-choo. Like, dog, it's so easy.
Whoppers are fine. They're not in the Almond Joy, like they're going straight in the trash can for me tier. Whoppers are just like fine. Like I'm not seeking out Whoppers per se. But if I happen to like be like, all right, I guess I'll dive into this. Sure, whatever. It's an acceptable 4th pick.
Oh, let me put it like this. When my mom had me on the candy restriction to a couple pieces a night, the Whopper was in the nightly rotation. No matter what other pieces got mixed around, I'm grabbing a pack of Whoppers. Oh, my
God. That's funny.
Yeah, bro. I hated that as a kid. All right, you got 4 pieces of candy each night. I'm eating 10 pieces tonight.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, Whoppers were in the roto every single time, though.
Deej, your 5th pick.
This is starting to get a little harder. Oh, Snickers. I
can't. God damn it!
I can't not go Snickers.
Fuck.
That was
gonna be my next pick.
For a solid like 6 to 8 years, Snickers is my favorite candy bar on the planet. Like, You could catch me with a Snickers like in my backpack like 98% of the time. It was wild. I don't know why I always had a Snickers with me, but I did.
I'm
Literally.
distraught.
It was insane. Not distraught. There's more candy. There's more candy in the world. It's okay.
Oh, that's such a bummer. Oh man. You know, I'm gonna go very traditional here and add to my elite list already. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. A Kit Kat rocks. It is a nice, every once in a while treat that, you break off a piece of the Kit Kat bar and do the damn thing there. Honorable mention, I think, is the mini Hershey bars in my book. I love those things. I think as I've gotten older, I've appreciated the traditional Hershey bar more. I think honorable mention as well is the individualized pack, like smaller packs of M&Ms. Those always bang. I was also one of those kids that did not hate getting the Halloween themed bag of pretzels.
No, I love pretzels.
Because not only do pretzels smack, and they might not be candy, but when you got a little bit older, say you're like 12 going trick-or-treating, right? You're a little more sophisticated in your flavor palettes. You opened up those pretzels and you took a bite into it with some chocolate. You had some chocolate-covered pretzels going on in your mouth, on your taste buds, and you were living large. Those Halloween pretzels were a nice little appetite. That was like when they bring out the rolls at Texas Roadhouse. Bang, here you go. There's your pretzels. Let's ride.
The rolls. Get out of here. You are hilarious.
Also, honorable mention, the mini boxes of Nerds. Those were always great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Andy Towers is pissed we don't have High Chew on our list.
But like nobody gives out High Chew for Thanksgiving. You see where my head's at. Halloween. Oh man, I guess I gotta go number 6.
Oh, I forgot we're doing 6. I'm so dumb. Yeah, your 6th pick.
I guess. For me,
I'm over here listing honorable mentions. We're not even done the list. Good grief.
Well, technically, it's on you first. On the snake.
Oh, right. I've gone 3 chocolate already, so I'll take the mini boxes of Nerds. I'll take the Nerds there as my 6th. That way I get, even mix and match of, sweet / like fruit flavored with 3 on the chocolate. Your 6th pick, Deej.
I'll have to go with one that also a lot of people are kind of on the fence about. It's one of those you love it or you hate it. Cookies and cream Hershey. And like, it's not necessarily that bar, but it's like white chocolate. Either you love or you hate white chocolate. So if you don't like white chocolate, you're not eating the cookies and cream bar. I personally love white chocolate. Love cookies and cream, especially the Hershey John. That little 4 square of cookies and cream is perfect. Hits the spot.
That is one of those candies that I can have like once a year.
Yeah, we've talked about
like
this.
It is such a rich flavor that it puts on your palate that it's like, I can't have this every day. I gotta have time in between having this. It's not that I don't like it, but it is one of those things where it can be overpowering.
We had this conversation on the way to a PLL weekend.
Yeah.
After that was like the second or third weekend in a row you had seen me like eat one of those. And you're like, dude, how do you do that?
Are you okay?
I'm like, yeah, dude, these are fire. What you mean? You're like, nah, dude, I can have that thing like once every 3 years. I was like, oh, is your palate okay? Mine's just fine. Like, get that checked out.
Also, very underrated. Honorable mention: Smarties. I love Smarties, dude.
You can give me all the Smarties in your bag. I'll take those every single time.
Swedish Fish.
Yes. Swedish Fish,
Sign
I'm
me
all
up.
for. The Sour Patch Kids, of course. One that's low-key sneaky good, and really the only time I ever eat them is Thanksgiving. Halloween is Skittles.
Yeah.
The little pouches of Skittles, like that's like the perfect amount of Skittles. I think that's why I don't eat Skittles, is because you can't like I mean, I'm not buying fun size candy. Like, look at me. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not buying fun size candy for the hell of it. But like, you can't just get a small portion of Skittles. Like, a regular bag is too big for me. Like, but that small portion they give in the fun size for Halloween is perfect.
100%.
Starburst.
Yeah, Starburst. Rank the Starburst flavors.
Pink, red, orange, yellow. Here you go with the pink, yellow, orange, red.
No.
Yellow, orange, pink, red.
No.
Pink, red, yellow, orange.
No, pink is not number one.
Yellow's number one.
No.
Orange.
Yes.
You fucking weirdo. Who's the orange Starburst is their favorite? What the hell? I don't think anybody. You can put a poll on. I don't think anybody else on the planet has orange Starburst as their.
Dude, when I would open the Starburst things where it was like 2 in the little wrapper and 2 oranges, it was like fucking hitting the lottery.
I mean, I was cool with that as long as it wasn't no 2 yellows. That was a treat.
I personally like all 4 of the flavors, but I do think pink is severely overrated.
I think it's just the juiciest.
Like them making the whole pink bag thing was just over the top. Like nobody likes pink Starburst that much.
That came off the meme. I'll eat you like a bag of pink Starburst. Like that's kind of where that came from.
It's excessive.
So, like, I get it.
I think
I think it's just the juiciest one. Like when I bite into a pink Starburst, like the juices pop my tongue a little different than the rest of them.
Pause.
So I think that's like why people are like, yeah, pink Starburst the best one. But it's like it's not really a taste thing.
I think I go orange, red, and then pink and yellow are like tied.
Okay. I can see that. Now if you eat them together, pink and yellow, it tastes like a pink lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
That's gas. You can't do that with any of the other flavors, but pink lemonade tastes fire. Oh, I don't know that. Ooh, that pink or orange or yellow might taste like blood orange lemonade.
Well, we can go find out and do some food fusions.
Is this what they do in candy? Like, should I just go work for a candy company? Is this what they do? Can I get paid to try out these experiences? Right? Y'all need taste testers?
That's what I'm saying.
Available.
But here's our Squire 6's Halloween candy list. DJ's got Almond Joy, Candy Corn, Reese's Pumpkins, Whoppers, Snickers, and then Cookies and Cream Hershey's. I've got Reese's Cups, Three Musketeers, the Jumbo Sour Patch Kid individual pack, Dots, Kit Kat, and Nerds. Also, another honorable mention, DJ, we didn't mention that. I think we mentioned last year. It's the SpongeBob Krabby Patties.
Oh.
Those bang.
That might be one of the best gummy candies on the planet.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
And the little packs of Haribo gummy.
Mm-hmm.
But not the sour ones, just the regular ones.
Yeah, just the regular. You don't need the sour on those.
Nah. They, put too much sour on there.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments section below your Squire 6's Halloween candy list. Let us know future Squire 6's lists you want us to do. We'll compile them and have them ready to rock and roll for future shows. But Deej, we're right on the horizon of an NLL season. It's very exciting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, does next week start our previews?
Is he the next week or the week after?
Because season starts December 4th.
So I think it's next week.
And we've got one. No, next week is just another typical show. Maybe we'll have a guest next week. We'll work on that. But then starting November 11th will be our first season preview show where we're going team by team. We'll let you guys know. We'll probably start out west again, just because there are so many teams out there. Then the 18th and then the 25th. Those 3 back-to-back-to-back weeks will be season previews. And then, Deej, we're right into it. Opening night, December 2nd, which we might be together.
I've been thinking about it.
We might have something special planned, but you got to follow us to know what's going down at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram. Get us to 1,500 followers on Twitter, and we'll give away Topps packs. Telling you right now, 1,500, we give away packs of Topps cards. Follow DJ on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever the hell you get your podcasts. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It helps more people find the show, helps us continue to grow and do even more dope shit for you guys. And I know that's all you guys want. You want us to keep doing dope shit. So subscribe to the podcast feed. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. You get full video episodes of OTB and all your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia shows. Search Underground Sports Philadelphia in the search bar, or youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia will bring you to the page. Shout out to YouTube. Thank you for the handle. Make sure you guys smash that like button, ring the bell icon, comment down below your Squire Sixes list, your potential replacements for Ben Rubeor, for Atlas, and anything else we talked about on tonight's show, future shows you want us to talk about. Comment section on YouTube. Let us know. Big thank you to our sponsors. All of their links, all of the promo codes, everything is in the show notes on audio and in the description on YouTube. Shout out to PHI Apparel Co. Get your merch. OTB logo merch will be available very, very soon. As soon as it's there, we will let you know on social. We will let you know. Shout out to them. You guys can use code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co for 10% off your order. This has been episode number 245 of the allegedly award-nominated number 9 NCAA ranked and Shrek ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. This is the last podcast I'm recording as a 28-year-old. I'm sad and I'm old. But until next time, we're getting the heck out of here. Peace.